Yes, reggae fans, this is Fully Full Word, and you're tuning in to the top ranking podcast sound, best sound in the world, so don't disappoint me.
All right, you're tuned in to Top Rankin' Reggae, the show where you can hear the stories behind the songs. My name is Glenn Holdaway, and I'll be your host. Today, we're going to start things off with an announcement. Very, very soon, we will be dropping our first line of official Top Rankin' Reggae merchandise. We've got some really awesome designs for t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and some other things as well, so definitely keep an eye on our Instagram page for updates. As you guys probably know, this podcast is really a labor of love for me, so I really appreciate everyone's support, and I hope you guys enjoy the merch once it drops. Grabbing some merch is a really great way to support the show and spread the word so more and more people can hear these interviews and learn the history of this music that we all love so much. So, anyways, that's the announcement. With that being said, let's talk about our guest today. Today, we are joined by a pioneer of British reggae, a man who has spent over 5 decades in the music industry and has produced over 500 records. None other than Anthony Pure Silk Brightly. Anthony is most known as his role as a founding member and keyboardist of the legendary UK reggae band Black Slate. Formed in the early 1970s, Black Slate was quickly recognized for their exceptional musicianship and became the backing band for Jamaican superstars like Dennis Brown, Ken Boothe, Delroy Wilson, and many others. Black Slate soon began writing and recording their own original music as well, and the themes of their songs were a reflection of the tumultuous social climate in England. Their music fearlessly addressed issues of segregation, police brutality, and racism, and their songs became rallying cries for justice and change. Their unfiltered message resonated so deeply with listeners that their second album, Amigo, would become a smash hit and launched them into mainstream success. Amigo peaked in the top 10 in the British charts and earned them a spot on the renowned TV program Top of the Pops, making them one of the first reggae acts in history to appear on this landmark show. To this day, Black Slate is still active and putting on spectacular performances, so make sure to see them live next time they're in your town. Outside of his work with the band, Anthony is a renowned DJ and sound system operator for Sir George Sound, a staple of the UK sound system culture and originally founded by his father. Anthony is also a producer and session musician for many of the top UK lovers rock artists, including Sandra Reid, Winsome, and Carol Thompson, to name a few. As I'm sure you can see, Anthony has played a critical role in the development of the British reggae movement, and it was such an honor for me to sit down with him and hear a first-hand perspective of someone who has been a part of the music since day one. I learned so much history throughout our conversation, and I know you're going to love hearing all of his incredible stories. So, with that being said, I think it's time. Without further ado, I bring to you my interview with Anthony Pure Silk Brightly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today with the great Anthony Pure Silk Brightly. Anthony, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. In the past, I've had guests from a bunch of different parts of the world, from Jamaica, of course, the United States, from Brazil, to talk about how reggae has shaped their experience in all these countries. But you are my first guest from the UK, and I'm so excited to have you on. I know a lot of people in the audience have been wanting to hear about the rich history, I should say, of reggae in the UK, and you are, of course, a pioneer who's been there since the beginning of that movement. So your perspective is so important, and I'm really grateful that you made the time to be here today.
Brilliant. Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought a really great place to start would be to start with the arrival of the Windrush Generation. I was hoping you could maybe share with the audience who the Windrush Generation is and what impact they had when they arrived in the UK.
Okay. All right. So the Windrush Generation is my parents, and really all of the kids at the time in the band, parents was part of that Windrush Generation. And to give you any understanding of what this could be like for this set of people, you're talking about people aged between 17 and 25 being taken. They wasn't taken from their homes, they were sent by their parents. So it's a different scenario. It's like your father or your mother and father said, right, there's an opportunity in England. We're going to save up all our money. We're going to sell what we have so you can go to England.
Yeah.
They say that the streets are paved with gold, and they believed everything white people told them. So they honestly believed that the streets were paved with gold.
And these are the people in the Caribbean islands that are
Yeah,
sending their children to the UK.
right. The young children. So the Windrush Generation is parents' pride and joy being sent away.
Yeah.
So it's a reverse form of slavery. It's go and work with my permission
Mm.
because you're going to get paid.
Yeah. And what you were saying about how all these parents in the Caribbean, they were made all these extravagant promises about how, go to England, it's going to be a better opportunity. You're going to have an amazing life. Was that promise true for that Windrush generation when they arrived, for those young adults?
Far from it. It was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They had signs on the windows, no dogs, no Irish, no blacks. So there was no way for them to live. They might have come in at Southampton, and they might have a telephone number. And they didn't know what a telephone is because none of them had telephones. So, and most houses didn't have telephones. The household might have one telephone, but individuals didn't have telephones. Like in the house that I grew up in, there was one phone in the house, and everybody would get a phone call on that call and at that phone. Just to give you, a perspective. And then what basically happened is that they had to make a way one way or the other. Some survived, some didn't survive, some made it, some didn't make it. But in the house that I grew up in was a 4-story house, and every room had a family. 2 children, husband and wife, 3 children, husband and wife, 1 child, husband and wife, in a house, in a room which is maybe 12 by 15, 12 by 12, 12 by 10.
Yeah.
And everyone's sharing the bathroom, everyone's sharing the kitchen, and everyone's going to work in places where they're belittled, they're not respected at all. They have nobody respects them. No one talks to them with respect. They're treated like garbage. And out of that came children like myself.
Yeah.
Then we're going to schools where you're the only black child in school. And children are not used to seeing black children, or definitely don't talk to them, or don't talk to, because whatever they saw on television was their narrative of who we were. And then you had another set of white people who just thought that they're here to take our jobs, they're here to take away this, and they just believed that we were there. Our parents came to take away what was theirs. But that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Because everybody was planning to go home. go back within 5 years, save some money and go back. The average person who left the Caribbean, it took them between 15 and 20 years to go back, to save enough money to be able to travel, bring up a household, still send money back to the Caribbean. Between 15 and it took my mum 16 years to go back for the first time to see her father.
Wow.
Her father wasn't able, or mum wasn't able to come and visit her.
Wow.
So that is, the basis of what we grew up. And so the only thing we had was music.
Yeah.
And my dad always played music, from blues to jazz to blue beat to ska and reggae. And my dad always had a little club in his basement where people come and play dominoes, listen to music. People have their birthday parties, their christenings, wedding receptions, because anywhere else that had these facilities, Black people wasn't allowed. So it was unofficial segregation. So it wasn't written, we're not racist, we don't segregate. But you go for a job, or you go for, everyone's telling you no.
Yeah.
And we grew up with that as well. So what changed my life to become music, to get into music? In 1968, I see the Jackson 5, or 69, I see the Jackson 5 on television.
Wow.
Changed my life.
How old were you at that time?
8.
Yeah,
8.
so you could probably relate to seeing those young kids up there.
So a kid on television looks
Yeah.
like, you don't see Black people on television.
Yeah.
So you see Black kids on television and they're singing and dancing. So I knew I wanted to be a singer. I knew I wanted to be a keyboard player. I knew I wanted to do something in music. There's my ticket.
Yeah.
So straight away, like every kid that had any form of musical talent. And one beautiful thing at the time is that in schools, you had music lessons. So music was compulsory, like English and maths. With English, maths, and music is compulsory. So
Yeah.
everybody had to play an instrument, whether it was a triangle, a recorder, a bongo drum. You had to play it to the beat on that shit. You know what I mean? So you had to read it. That blue note is yours. Every time it comes in that bar, you hit that drum. Or you
Yeah.
hit, you know what I mean? And that's how it started.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that you had kids like me who would hit the drum, listen to what was going on, and said, "Yeah, but you can go here as well."
Yeah.
Written the music. Yeah, but so what would happen outside of the music class? We will play what we've learned and improvise.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started.
Nice.
And then we started to play piano, and then you got 6 guys on the piano. You're only allowed to use one hand. What are you
Whoa.
gonna do with your one hand? Someone plays the bass, someone plays the rhythm, someone plays the lead, someone does something at the top, but everyone's doing something,
Yeah.
a song. So we became creative in the way of not being. We became creative in the negative of not being accepted.
Yeah.
And as a result, we ended up having our parents created their own industry. So they had their own clubs, their own nightclubs, their own shops, their own grocery shops, their own butchers, their own tailors, their own everything. Because you go to a white man, he's not going to make you a pair of trousers. They run you away. But these guys came over with all different talents. So everybody worked in that little room that they lived in and provided a service.
Yeah.
And as a result, the money stayed in the community, not just hours like how it is now. Weeks and months, the money just circulated. So you get paid from the white man. It's not going back into that world.
Yeah.
You're buying food from a black man. You're going to the hairdresser to a black man. You're making your clothes from a black person. You're entertained by black people. So we would always buy things from outside and then resell them. So we traded, and everybody got what they wanted.
Yeah.
So in a quick time, by the 70s, 75, that community who's been around now 15 years, they're thriving. And everyone's got an house. Whereas the local white people didn't have houses, and who did have houses wasn't renting. So all of a sudden now, you got rows of roads with all black people on it. But because it was the area that no one wanted us to, the area that no white people wanted to live in. So we lived in that area. But obviously what we did was fixed it up.
Yeah.
So the area became black affluent.
Which areas are you referring to specifically?
So like Hackney, which is where we came from, Tottenham, Haringey, Brixton, Camberwell, Lewisham, Harlesden, Neasden. You know, there's these pockets
Yeah.
where we all were. And the one common thing about it is that it was also where it was easy to work.
Yeah.
So wherever people had to get to, there was no bus, but it wasn't too far to walk. Or, you know, you might have to walk a mile or 2 miles. Like my parents had a shop, and that shop was 2 miles away from the bus stop. So you had to take a bus and then walk 2 miles to where the
Yeah.
shop. But it was a community of people within that radius of 2 miles,
Yeah.
and it's catered for them. So people go into that area and say, "Oh, there's a grocery shop in that area." And then what my dad did was deliver. So he said, "Just leave your grocery list and we'll deliver. Drop it off in the morning, we'll deliver. We'll phone you up and take your list and we'll deliver." So that delivering service, we were doing that in the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, what do you call it? Uber Eats.
Yeah,
or
Uber
whatever.
Eats, the
We
original.
were doing that. We were doing, you know, with Walmart deliver. No, we were doing that. We did that as
Yeah.
part of the Bible.
Man.
And we did ride a bike, and I got a grocery in the front of the bike and taking it to the people's house.
Yeah.
So that's the foundation, and that's where the finance came from. Because with that, my dad was able to support the band, and
Yeah.
my dad was also a DJ. He says, "Right, wherever I'm playing, I'm going to let you perform."
Yeah.
So we had shows because we had our own clubs, we had our own DJs. So you wasn't asking anyone for a show. It's just like, "Yeah, man, come. I'll charge brightly son. All right, yeah, you can come and perform." You know what I mean? And all you had to be was good.
Yeah.
You had to be good. And with becoming good at what we did, as a result, we were able to survive. My dad being a DJ, he then provided venues for us to work as a young group.
Yeah.
And and you had local pubs, public places where, you know what I mean, they wanted black entertainment. So basically, an industry was being made as we were developing. We had our own industry. So people used to come from abroad, like Benny King, Jackie, the Scatterlights, Jackie, what's his name?
Jackie Matu.
No, he came with the Scatterlights.
Okay.
But people like Jackie Edwards, singers, Owen Gray. So what happened? A lot of those singers came over and they never left. So
Yeah.
they became the local cabaret. You know what I mean? Then you have people like Ken Booth, they came over and then They had hit records, Errol
Yeah.
Dunkley, Brown,
Oh yeah.
and the list goes on. So with us now as a band, the first band I had, we broke up after 2 years, and then we joined a talent competition, and then we end up becoming the backing band for the talent competition,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have a name, so the DJ called us Young Ones from Zion.
Nice.
So at this stage now, I'm 12 years old now. No, I'm 11 years old.
Whoa. And you're playing
Uh,
keyboard in the band.
yeah, so I'm playing
Nice.
keyboard in the band, and then you got Desmond and Chris, we're still together.
Wow.
So Desmond on drums, Chris on guitar, and then we had a guy called Clive on bass, Patrick King on the keyboards and vocals, and Chris, Chris, we call him Chris Music House Hanson because Music House is the business that he does that makes him able to still play music.
Yeah.
So what we all did was create business within the business so that we don't do music for business, we do music for love, and we do business so that we can survive, so that we can do music for love.
Sure.
So the music house is a mastering room. So he masters cut dub plates, and then he also has a galvanics that makes the master for a stamper for making records, vinyl records.
Oh wow.
And we have a pressing plant, so we press vinyls.
Yeah.
And then we also another department where we change analog. So you got your 24 track to each tape, and we convert it to digital and put it on digital.
Oh
So
wow.
we provide those services, and we do accommodation in the Caribbean. So we've done different things in order to keep as part of our business, so that we've always been able to maintain music.
Sure.
I sort of jumped forward, but to go back, so Chris Hansen, Desmond Mahoney, and myself. So in 1974 now, because there's a 6 years age gap between me and them. So they said, well, we can't be called Young Ones from Zion because we're not even teenagers anymore. We're over 20.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got to change our name. So them days, everything was Black Panther, Black Power, Black Moses. There was a big black scene going on in America. Say It Loud, I'm Back and I'm Proud, James Brown. So
Yeah.
all those music was literally, Martin Luther King, the assassinate, all these things was happening. Then you had Malcolm X. So we were getting the tail end of that information,
Yeah.
not the understanding of it. We were just getting snippets because the BBC obviously control what you see. So TV was very white still. So we said, right, we're going to call ourselves Black so everybody knows that we're a black band. And then the name Slate came from our parents in the Caribbean used slate to write on.
Mm.
So we said, because we're always going to carry a message, so we'll say we're Black Slate,
Yeah.
Black with a message. And that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
So
That
in 1974, we changed our name to Black Slate. And then at this point, we've become the number one band in our area. And every area had its own band. And if you put them in leagues, every band is ranked in its own league. And
yeah.
then and then the top of your league will be at the big event, wherever it is.
Yeah.
And then it got bigger than that. Then the big bands of Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester. So you started to travel up and down the country. And because we were backing artists, so artists couldn't afford to bring their own bands. So because we were like a jukebox, we knew everyone's songs.
Yeah.
So we end up backing Dennis Brown, Ken Booth, Owen Gray, Johnny Clark, Prince Jazzbo, Dennis Al Capone, you name them. They came into England, we backed them. Errol Dunkley,
I guess I was like, yeah, Leroy Smart, as I would say too.
Tones. Yeah, so we were there.
Yeah.
And simultaneously now, my dad got a sound system and I take over the sound system, which is called Sir George.
Yeah.
Now, dub plates was becoming a big deal. But obviously I couldn't afford dub plates because I'm not even working. So I made my own records. So I could play my own personal type of record at the dance.
Yeah.
And out of those records came Sixman.
Yep.
So we started recording from 74. And then we recorded Sixman and that became a local hit.
Mm-hmm.
But it became a hit for more reasons than one. One, it was the first British-made record that was singing about what was happening locally. So it was a local record. And then when it crossed over to white people, it was like, God, you got these black guys singing about black and white people are one. That ain't that cool. Because now you got black and white in school. We're all in the same football team. We're in the same basketball team. The girls are in the same netball team. So now we are the same age. We need to win the match. We go to the same school.
Yeah.
It doesn't make no sense you having an all-white team because you're going to lose. So you need to have black guys because we were different. We operated different. We thought different. We played their games different. And we anything we did, we made it our own way. So we played football different. We played basketball different. We played cricket different. They played netball different. Everything. So anything we had an opportunity to do, we dominated it.
Yeah.
And
it's just like you were saying with music, even they're trying to teach you to play it a certain way. And you're going to add your own thing to it.
That's right. So as a result, you make your own band.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we've got into the 70s. And then we made our own album.
Yeah. And actually talking a little bit more about Sticksman, I would love if you could share a little bit more about like the topic of that song. I know you mentioned a little bit about like the racial unity, but what were some other themes in that song? I think it's a pretty significant song.
All right. So as we were growing up, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we couldn't get jobs. They would advertise a job, and when they saw your face, you didn't get it. If you had to put in an application, we would write the application good enough to get it. When they saw your face, you didn't. You could talk off the phone. They couldn't tell who you are. You couldn't get it. So a group of guys and girls said, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to go to bus stops and pick pockets. But we're only going to pick from white people because they're the people who are not giving us. So we're going to take from them, and like Robin Hood, basically.
Yeah.
The rich and share it amongst the poor. And they had this code that they had on the streets, you know what I mean? But the reality is that if you are a thief, the code changes according to your desperado. And I was on my way to the studio. Oh no, I was actually on my way to rehearsal, and I saw a black guy pick a white woman's bag. And she just shouted at him. She wasn't afraid. She was just like, how could you do this? And then that's why I then literally the next day went to the studio, wrote the song Sixman, Why You Do That? So we call him Sticksman. Why you do that, Robber Man? Why you do it? Say it was your mother, say it was your father, you wouldn't like that. And then the line that really did the crossover, if you thief from white, you will definitely thief from black. So don't bother tell our man that. We are one. Truths and rights for all. And that was the crossover because at that time you're now having white guys rebelling in their own house because your parents might say, you can't talk to that black guy or that black girl. And they say, but he's my friend. How? And the parents will say, how can he be your friend? He's black. You know what I mean? Because they grew up not having black friends. So this whole new society was growing up, which was becoming multiracial, where people are sharing music, sharing food, becoming friendly, having cross relationships, mixed relationships. So it became a world when it says it wasn't accepted in the white world, but it was accepted in the black world. So the black world expanded even more with multiracial and multiracial friends meeting up, listening to the same music. And because we still could not get venues, we owned everything.
Yeah.
We were buying things. So we was actually creating wealth out of desperado, not even realize we're actually creating our own wealth of unity of wealth. And by the time we got to the 80s, Black Slate had a hit record.
Mm-hmm.
We had the rights, so that's why we made records like Incidents, You Can't Make Us, You Can't Break Us to Do What You Want Us to Do. Then at the same time, we're making records like Live Up to Love. Let's not fight against one another. We need to unite like sisters and brother. So we're writing songs like that because we're just trying to keep it together. And with that, we're now crossing what they call crossing over. We're playing in pubs that only had rock music, and now they got reggae music. Now, in the midst of all of this happening, if we rewind back to 1973, I saw Bob Marley at the Sundown Theatre, which was his very first show in the
Wow.
UK. His name
Wow.
was so small on the fly, you couldn't see his name.
Wow.
So I saw Bob Marley, Peter Tosh. On drums was the two brothers, the Barrett brothers,
Yeah.
William and Barrett, and on keyboards was Wire. And that
Yeah.
was the way for that
Man.
show. And I for years, I did never really see the significance of it. But at this point, it's actually very significant because not many people can say they've experienced Bob Marley in the true sense of have that experience.
Yeah.
I've also done tours with Peter Tosh. I've toured with Bonnie Whaler, Jimmy Cliff, Toots and the Maytals. So I've managed to go through the whole reggae spectrum of his existence from different genres. I managed Stone Love Sound for 31 years. So with
Wow.
that, I saw the whole dancehall existence emerge.
Yeah.
I made Stone Love the biggest sound in the world. You know what I mean? Stone Love played
Yeah.
that the Montreux Jazz Festival. No other sound system have played in the Montreux Jazz
Yeah.
Festival. The Earl's Court, you know what I mean? So I toured them
Yeah.
like a so and that was just all part of not even realizing the journey I've gone through. And all along I've been playing my sound. I do my radio shows, manage sounds, do, and make records and perform.
Yeah. There's so much here, and I'm there's my mind is already buzzing. But even just to kind of recap a couple things. First of all, I just wanted to thank you for sharing so much of this history because I think there's kind of a perception in the United States that Europe is like this utopian place of multiracial harmony. You know, it's not something that at least when I was growing up that I heard a lot about until I started watching documentaries about like what it was really like in the 70s and 80s and you know the stuff that you guys went through and the segregation. It's not something that's often talked about. So I'm glad that you were able to share
Yeah.
this. And another thing that stuck out to me too is and why I wanted you to share more about Sticks Man, that song, because one thing that I've always thought is so profound about reggae is whether it's, you know, the artists in Jamaica or in the UK, this they went through unimaginable suffering and lived through conditions that, yeah, it's brutal things that they had to grow up with. And despite all of that and how easy it would be to turn to like being a gangster or crime, reggae still has the message of no, we're going to do the right thing and we're going to bring people together despite what we've gone through. And I think that's a really profound and beautiful message. And I think that's something that's made Black Slate's music to this day still feels so relevant. I mean, everything you're talking about is what's going on in America currently with the, I mean, I don't know how much you follow American politics, but crazy stuff going on in the administration right now. And this music and everything you're talking about is very, very relevant. So I'm glad that you're able to come on here and share those things with myself and the audience.
Yeah, no, it's I think sharing, the power in sharing is the power of receiving. It's the power of giving and receiving. Because people say, "Oh, why you share so much?" I said, "Because I've got to empty my bucket so I can get more."
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because there's still so much to do. You know, the other day, you know, this music industry is very interesting. And when I say it's interesting, it's that it's such a controlled industry that what has happened over the years, if anyone does something that's different to what everybody's doing, you have a problem.
Mm.
Black Slate always had that problem.
Yeah.
So in the early days, they say you can't record in that studio because they can't play. You can't make reggae music in that studio. So we went to that studio. You can't do that because, and I remember when they said you can't use a drum machine in reggae music, and I said to them, "Well, I'm going to use one." They said, "Yeah, well, no one won't like it. No one will buy it because it's a machine." So I'm the first. I claim it. I'm the first reggae artist to do an album with a drum machine, and I
Wow.
did that. 19. I recorded that in 1981.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, because Slang Tang was like 83, I think, maybe even a little later, but still,
Yeah,
yeah, it's before the giant surge of digi, you know, digi rhythms and all that. So yeah.
yeah. In 1981, I made an album with Sandra Reed and a few other things using
Yeah.
the 808.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? That famous machine. So that's before Lin Drum, that's before the 727 and the 707, the 606. It's the first, you know what I mean? It became the sought after machine because of the bass drum.
Hmm.
It was so unreal till it
Yeah.
became something that no one could use. Then everybody wanted to use it because it had a depth.
Yeah.
Uh, and then again, when the sequencers came up, people said, "Oh, you can't use a sequencer to make reggae music." So in 1986, I started to use sequencers to make reggae music. Um, and then now people are saying, "Oh, you can't use AI to make reggae music." You know, what I mean, it's forbidden. And I said, yeah, but if you're the musician, you just become a musician with a load of great musicians who get it. And they said, yeah, but you can't get it right. And I said, yeah, you might not get it right. But if you know what you want to hear as a writer, you will get it right because you
Yeah.
know what you want. If you're a producer, you will get it right. And you know, when so much is still going on and you still have to write songs about what's going on, and the pace does not allow you to keep up, then you have to use help. And I just put out an album literally last night. I uploaded it
Oh, wow.
because it's songs, what I mean, that people need to know about. There are
Yeah.
titles, you know, we're living in an age now where a lot of people have been taught that you've had an opportunity. So you've got a lot of kids now who have degrees where they couldn't get degrees before. You've got a lot of kids who has been educated and been uneducated out of their culture. And that's black, white, pink, or blue. So if you're a white kid coming out of an area where everyone speaks Cockney and they play rock music, when you go and do your two A levels and then go to university, when you come back, you're like an outcast in that area because that 5 years they've drained every cultural thing out of you. They tell you can't talk like that, you can't do this, you can't walk like that, you can't do that. What I mean, if you want this. So a lot of people have given up their heart, mind, and soul for a qualification piece of paper. And as a result, it's become a very lonely place. And love has gone for a walk. And so I think we've got to remind people that love actually stands for all. And you can't allow love needs to be in your heart. So a job can't give you love. Love has to live within you for you to be lovable to anybody else. I wrote a song that loneliness is time to go. You spent too much time with me.
Yeah.
You, I shared my. You was in that corner all the time, reminding me, and I said it's time to go.
Yeah.
Trouble and pain. Here you come again. Reminded me of the problems of the past. Well, you have no place here now. And I think it's important that people start seeing the joy. I wrote another song called My Joy. We need to find the love, peace, and joy that is supposed to live in your heart that can make you walk with a smile on your face and say good morning, good evening, good afternoon to a stranger. People struggle to say even good morning. You say good, it's got so bad that if you say good morning to somebody, they look at you like something's wrong with you. Like, he's talking, why is he talking to me? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So unless you're from a small community where everybody talks to each other, but once you're in that big world, you're afraid to stop to say hello. You stay on your phone or you play a game so that nobody can look at you in your eyes. No one smiles at each other anymore. So I think music is one. The arts has got to bring love back into the world,
Yeah.
and lovers rock music is something that we created in the UK.
Yes.
And the world has recognized it. So you go to New Zealand, you go to Australia, you go to the Fiji Islands, Hawaii, they all play lovers rock music.
Yes.
And what's interesting is that when we went to New Zealand, we were the second reggae band to go there. The first reggae band was Bob Marley.
Whoa. Wow.
But we were actually bigger than Bob Marley because we had number one. I think we had the top 3 records in the charts, 2 albums in the charts. We were huge.
Wow.
We went there for 14 days, did 12 shows, and every show was a sellout.
Wow.
So we've. I'm not sure what happened, because we were supposed to come to the States, and we chose to go to to New Zealand instead. We never ever got another second opportunity to go to the States. So even though we had releases in the States, but we never knew that anyone knew us in the States because we were
Wow.
never called to do a show.
Wow.
The first time we did our first show in the States was 2014.
Whoa. Wow. Yeah, that's surprising.
And that's when we came back on the road doing shows. But pre Black Slate, never did the States.
Wow. You know, you mentioned something just now that I'm glad you brought up. You mentioned lovers rock, and I've I've heard that genre being described as sort of like so you have kind of two facets of reggae, like roots reggae talking about the realities of what's going on, social issues and obviously Rasta and that kind of stuff. And then kind of running parallel next to it is lovers rock, and I've heard that as being described as almost like an escape from all the brutal realities that were happening around. And it's like this all the house parties and things that were going, you can go to get away from that and, find love and enjoyment, right? Like, would you agree with that kind of assessment?
That is a description of it, but it's a little even. I can make it a little bit more refined for you
Hmm.
because the birth of Love Rock came from us,
Yes.
and what it was that the birth of Lovers Rock started in 1977,
Hmm.
75, 76, 77. Now, the type of music had already exist, but it was coming from a Jamaican perspective. So you had people like Ken Booth singing like "That's the Way Nature Planned It," "Everything I Own,"
Yeah.
Derek singing "Being in Love," "Look Over My Shoulder," Dennis Brown singing "Let Me Down Easy." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The Jamaicans always sang love songs.
Kind of like the rock steady era is that what you're referring to?
Not even in the 70s, even
Hmm.
in the 70s, because all them titles I just mentioned was made in the 70s.
Hmm.
Um, but what happened was you had reggae music, different producers. Every producer in Lovers Rock in Jamaica, you always had Lovers Rock, and you had different producers, right? And every producer had his own studio.
Hmm.
Every studio had its own sound. So it did start with Treasure Isle and Drew Creed, and Trevor Isle, Drew Creed, Studio One, Cox and Dodd. Yes, it started there, and then it expanded. Prince Buster, then it expanded. Federal, Derek Harriott, Big Ute, Channel One Studio, King Tubby's Studio. King Tubby's was more roots. The Yabayou Channel One was more Mighty Diamonds, still rootsy, but a little bit more mellow. So all these records we grew up on.
Yeah.
But by the time we started to make records now, 75, 76, we're making records of, if you was with a producer say, yeah, I like that record, but I want it in reggae. I like that record, I want it in reggae. Or you make a reggae song with this feel. The Roots guy was very heartical, very dread. So it's like, even if he had a melodic sound, which sounded like Lovers Rock, like So Just Say by Fred Locks. So Just Say, it still sways like Lovers Rock.
Mm.
But the words were like, Rasta no work for no CIA, you know, like,
Yeah.
and then you had people like Jacob Miller singing like, Susie Wong, you man.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. That's Lovers Rock. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Oh, good morning, Mrs. Brown. With your daughter, I'm in love with your daughter. Or Gregory Isaac, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
your love is overdue. So they had love in their art and they made, and I always have to tell people that England was just an extension of Jamaican music.
Hmm.
But what happened was Jamaica didn't recognize us. So when I went to Jamaica in 1977, King Tubby's point blank says, "You English musicians cannot make reggae music.
Wow.
I don't want to listen to nothing you've got because," and you know, Jamaicans can be brutally hard. And I'm a
Definitely.
crybaby. So he brought me down to tears. And I took my Amigo album to him to listen to.
Oh man.
He said, "I don't even want to listen to it. Come
Wow.
on my studio. The only thing you must do is buy the dub plates you've come for."
Yeah.
So he really sort of like crushed me, like I'm threw me in a ball and threw me in the corner. So
That's
I left
brutal.
his studio and I went to Channel One studio. Now I'm only 17. I've run out of money. I've only got, but I want to, you know what I mean? My pride and joy. You must can make a record in Jamaica, the heart of reggae music.
Yeah.
Go into Channel One studio and and it's like a supermarket of musicians. So you go in there, got horn section, Tommy McCook and all them guys standing up. You
Yeah.
got the keyboard is it, but you got groups of everybody, and they're like, "Who are we gonna devour today? Who's gonna pay us money today?" So I turn up, and the guy says, "Oh, you're the Englishman who book an hour and a half. Only Englishman so mean. How can you just book an hour and a half in the studio?" And I said to him, "Because that's all I need."
Yeah.
Right? Because the thing about the studios down there, they were already set up. The drum set's already mic'd up. So there's no remiking, no resetting up. Everything is just like press play. The next, it was like a grocery shop. Go in, play, and come out. So they
Yeah.
said, "So what you want to do, Englishman?" I said, "I want to make 4 records." They said, "So who are you going to use?" I said, "I only need a drummer and a bass player because I'm going to overdub the rest in England." So they said, "All right, you know what you do?" And I said, "Yeah." So I picked Santa as the drummer,
Yeah.
but I went and played the drums. And I said, "This is what I want you to play." You could have heard a pin drop
Yeah.
because you got this young kid from England playing drums and telling the great Santa how he wants to play the drums.
Yeah.
I go to the bass player, Flabber,
Oh,
and he
nice.
said, so by this time now, he's perked up. So what you want me to do? I said, "Santa, play the drums." I said, "Why you play this bass line?" And I played the bass line. And when they saw me moving, I said, "You have to give it the rock." And I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, tell me how to play bass." I said, "Yeah, this is how I want to hear it." And then they said, and then they said, "Who's gonna keep the rhythm and the keep?" And I said, "I'll keep the rhythm." Run the tape. 1 tune, 2 tune, 3 tune, 4 tune. And I got like, I don't know, 20 minutes to spare, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, so everyone's like, "Man, this youth man is good." So everybody said, you know what I mean? I know you say you have your guitarist, you don't want Hans. I said, "I can't afford nobody." And then Sugar Minott comes up to me, and it was 3 of them: Sugar Minott, Lloyd Emmons, and Tony Tuff.
Yeah.
And say, "You man, where you take this music?" I said, "To England." He said, "We can sing upon the music." I said, "I don't have no studio time and I don't have no money. Don't worry about that. We'll sort that out."
Wow.
So the same 3 records, that 4 records I've made, I've now got Lloyd Emmons, Sugar Minott, and Tony Tuff on them.
Wow. Yeah.
But before they were Sugar Minott, Lloyd Emmons, and Tony Tuff, they
Hmm.
hadn't they hadn't bust yet. I think he might have just had DC out.
Yeah. Didn't Sugar come to the UK to record Good Thing Going?
He came to the UK and lived.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, so slightly out. So we're talking about that's 78.
Yeah. Yeah.
By 1980, Sugar Minott's in England.
I wonder if he
And
planted that seed right there.
and he's made records like Lovers Rock, This Is Lovers Rock,
Mm-hmm.
Good Thing Going, the hits with Good Thing Going. But he's using all of the British musicians.
Yeah.
So when you see that Top of the Pops of Sugar Minott singing good, all of those musicians are from the different local bands. So you
Yeah.
got musicians from Black Slate there, you got the musicians from Matumbi, so all the local bands, because everyone played a session on it.
Yeah.
And because of how BBC works, it's like, all right, what do you need to make the record? And he said, I want everybody. Because you
Yeah.
could even put out orchestra because everyone's going to get paid.
Yeah.
So everybody goes up and play on the one stage. And you know, just that's what happened.
Yeah.
So that was my experience with Jamaica and reggae music. So when I come back to England now, don't forget I'm a DJ as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say, I'm not playing no more music from Jamaica because they've disrespected me, they've hurt my feelings, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I am a bossy, show off, I know who I am kid coming out of Windrush Generation. I'm the first generation. Don't mess with me.
Yeah.
So from 1978, I stopped playing records from Jamaica.
Wow.
And from 1978, we have the Lovers Rock explosion of the
Yeah.
British music. And because we were all cool guys, we were all dealing, we were fly guys, you know, like we're dealing in love, roots and harmony. Everything had that sound. But it was really a continuation of the Jamaican reggae sound. But what made it different is that Jamaican reggae used to be governed by an organ, and the rhythmic sound of an organ changed the groove of reggae. But by the time, because no one had organs, because they were so expensive and so heavy, I was the only one in North London with a Hammond organ.
Are you talking about like the bubble? Is that the rhythm that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you found that from 1980, after I made Carol Thompson's hit record, I'm So Sorry.
Oh, you made that?
Yeah, I'm the keyboard player on that one.
Nice. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah. And then I also did Hard Times with Pablo Gad.
Nice.
After finishing those, and that's Black Slate, that's also the Black Slate, backing up people, helping people, doing
Yeah,
songs.
yeah.
Most groups that was coming through only played the piano. And instead of doing the one drop, they did like almost fall to the floor or just a step, one boof, bath, which all you played was just like jam, jam, jam. And you technically, and because of the pace, it was too fast to do hook, 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 hook. It was too fast.
Yeah.
If you was a real organist, you would know to do the bubble, bubble, that, bubble, that, bubble. But if you wasn't that guy and you never brought up in that era of playing keyboards like that, all you did was pizzicato. And that's why Lovers Rock had this shift of not the rootsy reggae as what you would hear coming out of Jamaica, because there was no organ in it.
Yeah. I also kind of noticed with Lovers Rock, sometimes there's different kind of chords that are being played than what I would hear normally in like root songs. And you as a keyboard player, I'm sure you know that more than anyone. Like,
but that's what we did. We would play D minor 7, D
yeah,
minor, and someone else is playing C major 7 and E
yeah,
minor 7 together. I don't know what that was called, but it's called something.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So we always found the melodic side as opposed to the direct A minor, E minor, D minor.
Yeah, and having those extensions kind of make it more lush sounding too.
That's right. And then we would put, so if you put strings in it, you would just continue in that sound. So everything was like very more like, you know, just like,
Yeah.
you know, like, flowery. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I had no idea about that experience you had with Tubby. That sounds brutal for a 17. I mean, for anyone to go through, but especially like a
yeah.
budding 17-year-old musician.
You know,
And
it made me cry. And my brother just said, "Don't worry, you'll be all right."
yeah, and that makes me wonder because like you shared earlier, you were already a very experienced backing musician for, the biggest Jamaican artists in the world. I mean, when it
He said,
came to backing up artists, did you ever experience them kind of looking down on you guys like?
"No, because we were their pay ticket. If
Mm.
they, if we couldn't play their music, they wasn't going to get paid."
Yeah.
Like Dennis Brown, when he sat down with me, he says, "No, listen," because he could play, and he said, "These are the chords I would use," and
Yeah.
he would call the name of the chords. I said, "I don't know those chords. Just tell me the notes, and I'll play them."
Yeah.
And I'll call the chord something else. And he says, "That's not the chord." I said, "Yeah, but that's how I can interpret it."
Oh, wow.
So I have a set of chords that I've used because even though I went to school to play piano, my music teacher took up, I was playing and he took up the sheet and he said, "Stop wasting your mom's money." And sorry, let me go back to that. Yeah, he said to me, so I'm in my music class, piano class, and then he says to me, picked up this sheet, but I'm still playing in it. And he says, "Stop wasting your mom money. You've got a different talent. Use the talent."
Yeah.
Because I couldn't read, so I couldn't look on the screen and read. So I had to work it out first, and then I would play it. But I'll just memorize it straight away.
Yeah.
So so it didn't even when I was playing the recorder, I would have to play it, then I would memorize it, and then I'll play it with everyone.
Yeah.
But I followed the notes by I couldn't look and play at the same time. There was a fraction time I was out of time.
Yeah.
So to be on time, I would have to learn it and then play it.
Yeah. Using your ear. It sounds like you got a very good ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so musically, I mean, we just learned to do things different.
Hmm.
And we learned we learned from all them Jamaican artists.
Yeah. Do you have any stories that kind of stand out to you about any of the experience working with those different artists?
Excellence, the word is.
Yeah.
You talk about someone like Ken Booth.
Hmm.
He's got perfect pitch.
Wow, I
Just
didn't know that.
have a sing off. And or even worse than that, Ken Parker is even worse. He'll say, "Stop, stop, stop. Who's playing that?" Or or Ian Smith or something Smith, who did Ram God Liver, the
Oh
man for
yeah. Yeah.
Ernie Smith. When if you see the chord structure of his songs, they're like they were beyond my imagination because I don't know those chords.
Yeah.
And when you because I'm used to playing the basic chords, and those guys was using all sorts of flat minor this, whatever the case is. But they all went to Alpha Boys School,
Oh yeah.
which is the top music school. It was the top music school for Jamaica, but it was
Yeah.
an orphanage as well.
Hmm.
So you either went there to learn or you lived there because you never had no parents.
Yeah.
But music will get you out.
Hmm.
So those guys, what I mean, don't get it was one take. Everything was one take. So excellence was always the key. Because you don't want to lose your spot because there's someone else waiting to take it away.
Yeah.
I lent Jackie Mitt on my organ one time when he came to England. Because as I said, I was the only guy in the area with a Hammond organ. And they said, "Can we rent your organ?" I said, "You can't rent it, but because my dad will kill me." And And they said, well, it's for Jackie Mitto.
Oh,
I said, well, I'll let you use it, but I have to be there.
yeah.
I have to experience it. And I'm a kid. I'm a kid. I think I might have been 15, 14, 15. And Jackie Mitto said, boy, you man, all right, I'm gonna show you how to play your organ.
Wow.
You know, like I don't know if you've seen the film The Blues Boys,
The Blues
where
Brothers?
Ray Charles says plays the Wurlitzer. He says, "You don't know how this sounds? This is how it sounds," and he plays the Wurlitzer.
That's
That's what my experience was like with with Jackie Mitchell.
wow. Yeah, he's the guy. That's it.
You know, what I mean, he taught me so much in that session. So he says, "Don't go in the country. Stay in the room with me, and I'll tell you everything that I'm doing."
Wow.
And that's when I learned about layers of keys. Because I thought you had to learn to play everything all at the same time. So you will hear a song and you'll be playing, you know, like,
Yeah.
and that you learn because the keyboard had to play everything, play the rhythm, play the piano, play the horn section, played
Yeah.
everything. And you had to, that's what you had to learn to do. So if you had no horns, the keyboard player, oh, who's going to play the horn line? The keyboard player. Who's going
Yep.
to play the keyboard player? Who's going to, the keyboard player? So you had to learn all these parts. But in recording, no one would use, no Jamaican producer would use me as a session musician because he says I'm too unruly. He says you improvise too much, and I don't want no improvisation. You just play that chord, just that. Don't move, just play that, just play.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. And I always played that and a little bit more.
Yeah.
I need that a little bit more. So as a result, again, roots rock music is progressive reggae music.
Yeah.
You are going to get a loud solo, you're going to get an organ solo, you're going to get a bass solo all in one track, which is unheard of in Jamaica. Everything is very confined and very controlled. So when people say, oh, what's the difference with roots rock reggae? Yeah, there's a big difference. Because we play a thing called progressive reggae. And that's why we sound different. Because we will alter the sound to sound to suit the record. We
Yeah.
won't use the same piano, we won't use the same organ, we will alter the sound. And I was talking to Ron Benjamin the other day.
Yeah. Wow.
And Ron said he's a sound manipulator.
Yeah.
So he used sound waves to get his message across.
Yeah.
So with all what's recently come up, I've decided to say we've created a festival called The Roots That Rock Reggae.
Yeah.
And Black Slate is on the first show. Ron Benjamin's on the first show. Tomorrow George is on the first show. And that's going to be in Antigua. Because I think once people started to use programs on stage, the essence of live music left the stage.
Mm.
So having a band on stage now is like a glorified disco because it's going to finish in 3 minutes, 42 seconds.
Yeah. You're referring to like click tracks and that kind of stuff.
Click tracks, programming on stage, spinning stuff in, fattening up, what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You're restricted.
Yeah.
And I've seen it where I've seen it with I thought it was he was in a different audience and they wanted the track that they had programmed to Wheel and Come Again wasn't the popular track for the country was in.
Oh,
And the crowd is going wild, but they can't. So he's just going on like the crowd is not going crazy
yeah. Yeah, I see what
because
you
the
mean.
harmony is going to come at the same place. And then I've seen it happen with a few people, and I'm saying, you got to be able to stop the band and
Yeah.
say, my harmonies or listen to my horn section and not run out of time or extend the track because the people like it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you as a selector is extra sensitive to that, reading the crowd and going off their energy, you know?
So a lot of bands, I mean, like they'll tell you, I mean, they'll tell you, especially these festivals, they say you got 60 minutes and then we'll cut you. So they program a 60-minute set.
Yeah.
Or when I'm on those concerts, I turn around and say, how much time have I got left? Because you can't program your crowd. You decide to put in a drum and bass section. You're giving them the drum and bass. How
Yeah.
can you not do it? Like,
Yeah.
I want to dance. I mean, I want you to clap. I want you to do something.
Yeah.
I might have 10, 15, 20 tracks to do, but I've only done 5 because one track lasted 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think um live I think I think what's happened also is that in our days you had to go through the ranks. You started in the small bars, the small clubs, then you went to a little bigger club, then a bigger club, and then you got into a little venue, then a bigger venue, then you got to the big, and you actually built your audience based on them wanting to come and see you perform again. I think it's different now. Your audience is built by the amount of likes you have or the amount of. So when they see you, they just, if you don't have the confidence to build an audience into your music world, then all you're going to be is a PA, a glorified PA with a band. And the record would finish at 3 minutes, 20 seconds or 2 minutes, 46 seconds, and you're on to the next one. And you see it all the time.
Yeah, that the thing that you're speaking on is something I've definitely noticed when it comes to more of like the old school artists and the way that they play versus the newer artists. And yeah, it's a lot more like every moment is kind of planned out in the newer artists. It's like before we go on stage, we're doing this, this, this. Like you said, it's programmed. If it's 60 minutes, it's boom, done right at 60 minutes. So they're like it's nice and tight. But I see what you mean where it's like the other side of it is, but at the cost that it's coming to is you're losing some of that connection with the audience. Like every show, I feel like with old school audience, it's like it's more personal because it's different depending on how the audience interacts. It's not going to be the same show anywhere you go.
Yeah, yeah. We played in the Dub Club in LA. It was
Hey,
called,
right here.
right?
That's
All right, okay.
yeah, yeah, man.
All right, so we played there with,
Yeah,
and I remember they saying, "Oh, so who should go on last?" And they said, "Well, the biggest name," and that's who the people were coming for. So they asked me, "Do you mind?" I said, "No, fine, no problem. We're just here to play music."
yeah,
So we go on, and they said, "You only got 45 minutes." I said, "That's really hard." Right?
yeah,
I said, "But if that's what it is, that's what it is." Anyway, we did 45 minutes or 50 minutes, and they said, "Time off." So I said to the people, "I'm sorry, we've got to go." But we're like, if we have a bar of 1 to 10, we've only got to 5. And they're feeling the energy of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They want to get to 21. You
yeah,
understand? So So we've come off, and the crowd is going, we want more. We want more. And then when I went to move the instrument, no, we want more. Black Slate. So the guy said, and he's standing up watching this like he's never seen this before.
Wow.
And I think his manager is out the sense of and he's watching this and he's saying, so we're saying, so we're just standing up humbly. What you want to say? You want us to go back on? They said, you're going to have to because we can't take the equipment off the stage. So we go on. So we're continuing from 5 now. We've got to 8.
Yeah.
So we've got another 15 minutes. They're going mad now. We've got them jumping in the air like, can you hear it? Boom, boom. And they're going crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're getting the live feeling of how we're feeling.
Yeah.
So we say, with all due respect, we've got to go now. And we go, boom, boom. And like, like the ending is like 20, 30 seconds long. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah. Plop, 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 plop. You know, we're like, what
That's
just
it.
happened? Anyway, we come off and they're able to take the equipment off stage.
Yeah.
Go on. All neat and dandy. And but you could hear the energy in the crowd, like, you know what I mean? Like literally like even the DJs trying to play roots now because the dancehall thing, they want to hear this kind of roots, not that kind of roots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, he comes on stage. And whatever he's used to, it's not working. But he's got a set, in it.
Mm.
He can't do track 3 or track 4 or track 5 to change it. He has to do 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order.
Yeah.
And the show is flat, and like everybody's like, what is he doing? But what it is just that they just was put on a live energy, spiritual, music, entertainment journey.
Yeah.
That some of them was most likely never experienced in their life. Because it was the first time, or the second time we've ever gone to the Jump Club.
Yeah.
So it was like, what just happened here? And the show was so bad that I had to go on and help him out.
Whoa.
And there's you know what I mean, like, it's like you've heard, well, you know about Ron Benjamin and Midnight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like everybody says, don't go on after midnight.
Yeah.
Don't go on after midnight because you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So all of those popular, straightforward bands knows that if there's certain type of bands on the show, don't go on, you know what I mean? Because we're classed as the other band, you know what I mean? We haven't got the big names. We've just been around a long time. But you don't know what happens because there's no two the shows the same.
Yeah.
No two shows, we've just, you know what I mean? No two shows are the same. So I think the power of music, people need to go back to school.
Mm.
They need to go back to school and stop sequencing and programming and actually learn how to play.
Yeah. And even like, everything that you're saying, it's really kind of like just taking me back to even what you were saying about like the parties that you were doing and the DJing. I feel like that is a really important interaction that that sense that you have of an audience, and you know like what tunes are going to move people. And like maybe extending a thing here, like you said, bringing an extra break there because you feel them still wanting more of that. So I think that in itself is an education as well that, yeah, maybe isn't as observed today. Like, because you wouldn't be a successful DJ if you just like, all right, here's my hour set. I'm just gonna make a playlist and just go down here and just ignore the audience. That would not work at all,
Fortunately, that is what is being done.
Exactly. Yeah.
And but it's done so much that people are used to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you go to a venue. In my world, DJs are not supposed to play the same record twice. So if someone's played the record before you don't go on and play the same record again.
Yeah.
Or you'll
Yeah.
get two, three DJs playing the same record all night because that's the number one record. So everybody
Yeah.
plays the number one record.
Yeah.
So no one goes on a musical journey, not even in a club anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's an important thing that's been lost, and I'm glad that you're speaking on it. And kind of like now that I'm having this more complete vision of your musicality, like you said, doing things your own way, not sticking to the exact traditional way of playing, being spontaneous with the live shows. I think that's like the perfect arrival moment of your album Amigo in 1980 that became like the smash hit. Like all of those things culminating, I'm sure, went into that album to make that chart topping hit.
You see, that's interesting because it became what it became, but we didn't know how or why.
Yeah.
I knew when making Amigo was really, as long as I can dance to it, as long as I can play it on my sound and dance to it, it's all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I mean, it was really about literally the fun and the joy of the music.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a few hits in my life, and I've never been able to predict a hit.
Yeah.
Um, the nicest records that I've recorded that I really like and don't sell no copies. Now, 20 years later or 30 years later, it's got a demand. So I think the music industry is still a very live industry. Unless you're able to use it in a live way, everything is going to become very, very controlled. And and whoever decides to say, well, I'm going to do live, is going to turn it around.
Yeah. That's it.
Um, yeah, I think that's where we are. I think the beauty of live music, I mean, and that's why people still go to concerts, live concerts. One, not because there's nowhere else to go, because that's another reason, but they will buy that ticket in hope that something on that night is going to stand out and stay with them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Before back in the day, you would have 4 or 5 bands, and every band, you would stay to watch every band because every band was going to have a gem. But unfortunately now, if you see somebody today and they're on a gig tomorrow and the next day, you'll be able to memorize their set because they do exactly the same thing, exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible for me to do it because I don't know how to memorize it. I mean, I'll have a sheet of paper with all the songs in it, but it's not the order of the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about some of the great musicians of the world. You take Prince. You had to know the 300 record catalog.
Yeah.
You don't know what song he's gonna call,
Yeah.
and we're like that with Black Slate.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got so many songs. There are some songs that he's definitely gonna play, but in between is gonna be based on how we feel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, where can people see you guys now? I know you've got the sign right behind you. Like, what do you guys have coming up that people can come check you
Um,
guys out?
in the UK, where we really do small events, like we're doing a place called the Soul Mama, and very intimate. Um, for whatever reason, we don't do a lot of the large concerts. I purely think because I don't like how they treat artists.
Mm.
But I do music because I love it. I'm not going to subject myself in a certain behavior to for me to be uncomfortable. So we do pick and choose where we do what we do and where we do, and it's not normally money driven. It's more that proposal sounds interesting. Let's do that. Let's go there. Let's go there,
Yeah.
and that's how it is. America, we haven't been to America for a while now, but America tends to be quite difficult for paperwork sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, I mean, I think the last time we went there, they were questioning. So Gavin is my son. He's the lead vocalist for Black Slate now.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about, I suppose, the history of reggae music, and not so much about Black Slate, but Black Slate now consists of 3 generations.
Yeah.
Chris Hansen, Desmond Mahoney, and myself of the original Black Slate. We're the originals that's been there from the beginning. Gavin Creary, who's my son, he's on lead vocal now. And Mensa on bass. He's 27.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So that is quite amazing to have him because, as people say, how do you group up with those old men? It could be like your grandfather, not just your father, your grandfather.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful about it is that he just likes reggae music, and he's now learning how to play reggae music. And one of the main lessons that he had to learn was how to dance. Because he
Yeah.
said, you can't dance to reggae music, you won't be able to play it. And he says, how do you do that? I said, you have to go out and listen to reggae music and see other people dancing so you know how to dance to it. And then you'll realize that your bass line is a dancing instruction.
Yeah.
And he came to one of my sessions. I said, don't come on your own, come with your girlfriend. He said, yeah, I'm going to walk with my camera to film. I said, yeah, well, you look what other people is doing. Anyway, I played in this place called All Nations, a little small. And his girlfriend said, this is where my grandmother goes to. So anyway, so at the end of the night, he says, wow, that was amazing. He says, I saw people dancing together and holding each other. And I said, so didn't you try it out with your girlfriend? He says, yes, of course we did. Because that's part of our culture. That's not filtering down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you were to ask 10 young people, have you danced with a girl to lovers rock music in a room where you can just about see the person in front of you because it's so dark? They're going to say no. Because everybody's got their phone in their hand and they need a light. And I someone said the other day, they said, yeah, people stop dancing together because it's too public. It's not private anymore because everyone's got a phone in their hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some documentaries about lovers rock and seeing like talking about the house parties and like you said like those crowded rooms where it's dark and people are just dancing all night and it's like dancing close, to this like very lovers rock music, like that's now people taking
You dream
videos of
about
everyone,
it. You dream about it and you go back the next week, that you might find the same girl in the same corner. You might get next thing you know, you got a girlfriend. But
Yeah.
yeah, dancing is powerful and I think it's very important.
Yeah, I mean it's like you said, especially as a bass player.
Yeah. And I think in general, I think that's why I still DJ because I love to dance and I love to entertain. So whether I'm on the stage or whether someone's listening, you listen to my 4 hour show, you are going to be in a trance. You're
Yeah.
gonna you're gonna move from one place to another, and when you get to the end, it's gonna be like, finish already? What
Yeah.
just happened? And that's what we do. Yeah.
Where can people hear you DJ now?
Right. So I do a regular show that I put out on Mixcloud, and in the UK, I do selective events. So I'm doing a thing called One Sound, One Selector. So I play for about 6.5 hours right through the night,
Wow.
and you won't hear a record twice.
Yeah.
It's that's how we were brought up. You had to learn the road. You had to be able to play music and don't let no one leave you. Don't let
Yeah.
no one get up and leave. Keep them going. Don't allow them to get, if you make them tired, let them go and get a drink, let them have a break, whatever the case is. But you orchestrate everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So Mixcloud, and once every 3 months I do a club somewhere.
Nice. Well, I hope people go and check that out. And there's one last question that I want to ask you today. You've just recently celebrated over 50 years playing music and being, in the playing reggae music all this time, going all over the world, learning all kinds of things. Um, what is the biggest piece of advice that you could leave to an aspiring musician, especially someone who's wanting to play reggae?
Don't lose the joy and the love. Play it because you want to, because you love it. Don't play it for the fame. Don't play it for anything. Play it for the joy. And with that, everything else will fall in place. Don't allow anything to take that joy of that music away from you, because we've seen it happening too much times where people get a hit record and that's the end of their career because the joy becomes mechanical. You know what I mean? People ask you, don't you get tired of doing Amigo? The answer is no. Because I still get joy in playing that record.
Yeah.
I still get memories. So how many times have I played that record? You know what I mean? Hundreds of thousands of times, maybe millions of times, because people want to hear it. So I don't really any advice for any young person or even big person who's playing music. Protect your music with all of your might. Don't let them steal your joy. Record companies will do it. Other band members can do it. That joy and that love for your music, protect it. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. And where can people find you and keep in touch with you if they want to follow your career and upcoming shows and whatnot?
All right, so we got blackslatereggae.com, anthonybrightly.com, and musichouse.com. And we're on all the social media platforms. So anything that you want to find, we're not hard to find.
Yeah.
We're definitely not hard to find. So I would say, you know what I mean? And if you want to buy vinyl or a CD or a 7-inch record, you can just go to the blackslatereggae.com and we sell them there. So, because we know people are getting back into buying original plastics again,
Yeah.
or they want to play records. So, um, and I think once you've experienced playing a record, again, every person can remember the first record they bought
Yeah.
because you bought it, you had to save for it, You run them over, you have to take off the plastic without trying to destroy it, and then boom, pick it up, look at it, smell it, whatever, put it on, put that needle on, and sit down.
Yeah.
Joy of music.
Absolutely. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
No, thank you very much. And I must thank every single person out there I thank you for having me on your show. But I also want to thank everyone who has managed to keep our music alive. Because without you, the people, we don't even know. We don't know unless we come to your town or unless we do an interview like this and we see the comments. So I thank everybody out there. And I also have to thank Natty Kingman for creating this, because I know a lot of people just, when they hear from me, like they tend to, you sure? Are you sure? Can you really get me an interview? But he's been amazing. He's out there in Kenya. So Natty Kingman, big up yourself.
Yeah.
And yourself. You know what I mean? I made the mistake to check out who you were. When I looked on your profile, I said, is this the same man who's doing this interview? So for your humble reasoning with me, thank you very much, because I know that you have gone around playing music and you've played in some lovely events, and yeah, I encourage you, keep, you know, as a young man playing music, pick up yourself and keep it going. And I look out, maybe one day when we come to LA, it'll be like, listen, come and join us, Glenn.
Hey.
Come put their hands on Romans or Mind Emotion, because it'll be a pleasure to have you.
Oh man, thank you so much for the kind words, and I look forward to that day. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Man.
It's gonna happen. All right.
Yeah, thank you again.
All right, respect.
All right, that concludes today's episode. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to leave us a like and subscribe on YouTube. That really helps us out. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook. Leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And make sure to tune in next time for more interviews with your favorite reggae artists. My name is Glenn Holdaway, and I'll see you next time.